Well, hello, here's another quick, short and snappy MFL video, as I hope they always are. But I hope, this is going to be another useful video for you. Just checking in maybe for the first time, or you've seen a few others of my videos. I'm an MFL teacher in England, and this is part of my teaching reflections. I suppose it's a little bit like an MFL teacher diary, where I just try and include exercises that have worked for me. This started off a few weeks ago with me sharing some good news, some really positive teaching activities that had worked for me. And I thought, hell, why not put them on YouTube, see and share them, see if there's anyone else that would benefit from them. So if that is you, please like, comment, subscribe, share it yourself. Let me know how it's working for you. And let's dive right in. So the activity that I did today, you may have seen these, you may not. This is called a translation pyramid. I used this with a group of 13-year-olds in one of my French classes today. And I've just come back from paternity leave, which is the reason for the week's absence of content. I'm pretty tired, and I have had some brilliant colleagues who've stepped in and just held the fort for me, done work, marked work. It's been superb, but I just needed a lesson to kind of get back in the classroom, get back in the swing of things, and figure out where are my boys, where are they at, what have they learned. And in classic 13-year-old boy fashion, yeah, sure, we've done this, yeah, we've done this. And so how the lesson started is as a starter activity. All right, guys, just do this amongst yourselves for 3-4 minutes, swap in that time, and go through it all and test yourself. Repeating the English and translating the English into French. Lo and behold, I go around with my little clicker and I'm listening. They haven't got a clue, and they're making tons of mistakes left, right, and centre. Lesson plan out the window. Nail this, because we can't do it. And that was something I didn't feel very confident with during my PGCE. If there are any PGCE students here, it is absolutely essential that you feel confident enough that you back yourself to adapt a lesson plan midway through a lesson. If the students aren't getting it, press pause and do whatever is needed to make sure that they make progress on that thing. Because A, you don't want to fossilize errors, right? Something that they get wrong and you just leave it and you put stuff on top of it, they fossilize that mistake, particularly with language. So you've got a responsibility there and an opportunity to make sure that the mistakes that they make are fixed. But also, as any sort of observer, PGCE mentor, they want to make sure that you're focusing on pupil progress. You might have the flashiest, most amazing lesson plan, but actually if you've overlooked a mistake and an error and you've not corrected it and you're not giving progress, just an FYI, far better to pause and just drill down, even if it takes the rest of the lesson. Make sure, have a few activities up your sleeve. That's also part of the teacher toolkit. But make sure that those students get the help they need from you, and the encouragement and the activity planning, the scaffolding, class management, all that sort of stuff to make the progress. That if you spot something, make sure that they get it right as much as it's in your power to do so. So that's what we did, and I started off, okay, boys, how do you say when I was in Paris? They kind of got it. When I was in Paris, I did a tour of the city. Didn't quite know the vocabulary of that. When I was in Paris, I did a tour of the city for 2 hours. They didn't know how to say for 2 hours, pendant 2 heures. So what I did is I got an interactive whiteboard behind me that you'll be able to see. So I restored anthem. We went through, like, this is how we say it, this is how we say it, this is how we say it. And then it was just classroom sort of call and repeat, translations, different boys, not letting any of them kind of sit back and not engage. I was really quite intense, getting a lot of speaking and listening done. And then as we were going through, I put the onus back on them. They'd seen, a 5-minute, 10-minute demonstration of what I was doing with them. They then needed to do that with their partner. They were either the referee or they were the one that was going through and trying to translate it. And they started off, both of them could see the board and they could hear me repeating it. They could hear others repeating it and me correcting or praising good pronunciation. which seemed to be, you know, a big theme for this particular class, was getting a good French pronunciation. And also the partner was there correcting them. And I was there just making sure that the referees were correcting the right things, being active referees, stepping in if they needed to. Again, teenage boys, yeah, that was fine, let's move on. Timmy, you got this, and this wrong. Can you correct that, please? So it was good that it was a smaller class. You know, I appreciate that's not always the case for every MFL teacher out there. Some of you got big classes, but that circulation is absolutely essential. In fact, I think it's possible to have slightly less resources, and you can almost, well, you can expand and extend one or two activities and make them last for quite a while if you're circulating and just asking questions and keeping things going. You know, provided there's stuff for them to do, there's still hurdles for pupils and partner groups to go through, then I don't think you have to have loads of different activities. Just make sure the activities you've got give you opportunity to go around and circulate, give good feedback, but there's also enough there for the pupils to get on with. So they had the sentence there, big sentence, two big sentences. And they were kind of getting there in terms of, I know what the English says and I know what it means in French, which is by itself brilliant. And then what that turned into was formative assessment on my part. Okay, what are you getting wrong at the minute? And there's one boy in particular who just wasn't getting the silent letters. So you can see the yellow highlighted letters here. I just thought, okay, Gianfranco Conti has taught me well. We need to make sure that we don't ignore the lexical and structural elements. And sometimes that is letters. Let's not overlook letters. So I got them to listen to me as I was reading the sentence aloud, and the yellow highlighting wasn't there at this point. So you're seeing the after. Before, there was no yellow. And they needed to write on their whiteboard just the silent letters. Didn't write any words, didn't copy down the sentence. That would have taken too long. Keep the main thing the main thing. So they just simply wrote down the letters that they saw but didn't hear. Then go through, I must repeat that 5-6 times, which by itself is brilliant for the ears. And actually, because the boys had a difficult task, they're like, yeah, so can we listen to that again? Répétez, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Répétez, s'il vous plaît. And yeah, by the end of it, honestly, before and after was absolutely inspirational. You know, the boys that were really struggling with it, just coming out with great French. And admittedly, it was only those 2 sentences, but look at the volume of difficult French just in those 2 sentences. There's loads of chunks there that they've learned. Brilliant. And so they did the silent letters, and that really helped them understand, but also drilled good pronunciation. And that just worked really, really well. There wasn't actually anything else that I was going to go ahead and do. If I was going to extend this deliberately, I would have maybe taken the typed text of that sentence and had a few language manipulation activities, maybe no spaces, no accents, no punctuation, that kind of thing, just to make sure that they've not just got the pronunciation element with the silent letters, but the lexical aspects of it, that they've mastered the reading and the recognition, that sort of stuff as well. But they're just a quick report on something that worked really well for me today. So I hope that's helpful. That is one aspect of a translation pyramid that you can do. You can quite obviously have the French pyramid, and you put some pronunciation of French to French, French to English. This was at the end of a larger lesson. So I will perhaps do another video another time on this kind of thing. So this would all have been build up that a colleague of mine had done last week. And maybe they rushed through the translation pyramid, I don't know, but work needed to be done, and that took up a whole lesson. And that was on the fly sort of adaptation, but it worked really well, and the boys really, really appreciated it, because the progress that they could see in their own ability was superb, and it was just a real good lesson. So I thought I'd share that with you. And as you can see, it's 2 sentences, you know, and all you need to do is go on Microsoft Word, center alignment, and just copy, and then delete certain aspects of it, so the sentence gets progressively bigger as you go down. And you could do this with smaller chunks, bigger chunks. It's really adaptable, very low prep. So I hope that's helpful. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.